Hey, Blazer Tales. Have I got such a good one for you today? I just did my book talk for this and it's got me so excited because I love this book so much. This is Skeleton Creek by Patrick Carman. This book is probably one of my favorite books ever, bar none. I read this to my sixth graders every single year. I have for probably 8 or 10 years. Love this book. This is amazing. I'm not going to do a book talk here because that's in another video, but I'm going to do my first chapter Friday reading just to kind of draw you in a little bit. And it's not going to take much because I promise you this book is absolutely amazing. So give me a second. I'm going to share my screen so that you don't have to look at me the whole time. You can look at the book, the cover of the book. Oh, I got too much going on here. Hang on a second. So you can look at the cover of the book and let me do full screen. There you go. So that is Patrick Carman. That's the author. He is the mastermind behind this book because this book is next level. Okay. So you've got words that are written by Ryan, who has had an accident. He can't really get out of bed or leave his house. So everything he does, he's journaled all of his research, all of everything. And then you have videos, and the videos are by Sarah, his best friend. She goes out in the town and she does all the videoing because he can't get out. So she videos it and sends it back to him. Some of these videos are terrifying. We're going to start off and read. These don't really have chapters. It's kind of confusing. I don't know if let me see if you can see this, but it shows you like the dates and the time. So those are the chapter breaks, kind of like. So it starts off Monday, September 13th at 5:30 a.m. There was a moment not long ago when I thought, this is it. I'm dead. I think about that night all the time, and I feel the same fear I felt then. It happened 2 weeks ago, but 14 days and nights of remembering have left me more afraid and uncertain than ever, which I guess means it isn't over yet. Something tells me it may never truly be over. Last night was the first time I slept in my own room since everything happened. I'd gotten into the habit of waking in the hospital to the sound of nurses shuffling feet, the dry chalk dust smell of her skin, and the soft shaking of my shoulder. The doctor will visit you in a moment. He'll want you awake. Can you sit up for me, Ryan? There was no nurse or doctor or chalky smell this morning, only the early train crawling through the town to wake me up at 5:30. But in my waking mind, it wasn't a train I heard. It was something more menacing, trying to sneak past in the early dawn, glancing down the dead-end street, hunting. I was scared. And then I was relieved because my overactive imagination had settled back into its natural resting state of fear and paranoia. In other words, I was back home in Skeleton Creek. Usually, when the morning train wakes me up, I go straight to my desk and start writing before the rest of the town starts to stir. But this morning, after shaking the idea that something was stalking me, I had a sudden urge to leap from my bed and jump on board the train. It was a feeling I didn't expect and hadn't the slightest chance of acting on, but still, I wondered where the feeling had come from. Now, I've rested this journal on a TV tray with its legs torn off, propped myself up in bed on a couple of pillows, and have started doing the one thing I can still do that has always made me feel better. I have begun to write about that night and all that comes after it. Oh my gosh, this is so good. Oh, do I want to read one more? That was kind of short. Let's do one more. Monday, September 13th at 6:03 a.m. I need to take breaks. It still hurts to write, physically, mentally, emotionally. It seems like every part of me is broken in one way or another, but I have to start doing this again. 2 weeks in the hospital without a journal left me starving for words. I have kept a lot of journals, but this one is especially important for 2 reasons. Reason number 1, I'm not writing this for myself. I'm putting these words down for someone else to find, which is something I never do. Reason number 2, I have a strong feeling this will be the last journal I ever write. My name, in case someone finds this and cares to know who wrote it, is Ryan. I'm almost old enough to drive, although this would require access to a car, which I lack. I'm told that I'm tall for my age, but need to gain weight or there's no hope of making the varsity cut next year. I have a great hope that I will remain thin. I can imagine what this morning would have been like before the accident. I would be getting ready for the long-hour bus ride to school. I would have so much to say to Sarah. An hour next to her was always time well spent. We had so much in common, which keeps us from going completely crazy in a town populated by just under 700 people. I'm really going to miss those conversations with Sarah. I wonder if I'll get lonely. The truth is, I don't even know if I'm allowed to mention her name, but I can't stop. I'm a writer. This is what I do. My teachers, parents, even Sarah, they all say I write too much, that I'm obsessive about it. But then in the same breath, they can't help but mention that I'm gifted. Like when Miss Garvey told me I understand words and their usage in the same way a prodigy on the piano understands notes and sounds. But I have a much simpler answer, and I'm pretty sure I'm righter than my teacher is. I have written a lot every day, every year, for many years in a row. Practice makes perfect. I think my favorite writers are those who admitted while they were still alive that they couldn't live without writing. John Steinbeck, Ernest Hemingway, Robert Frost, guys who put writing up there in the same category as air and water. Write or die trying. That kind of thinking agrees with me, because here I am, write or die trying. If I turn back the pages in all the journals I've written, I basically find two things: scary stories of my own creation and the recordings of strange occurrences in Skeleton Creek. I can't say for certain why this is so, other than to fall back on the old adage that a writer writes what he knows, and I have known fear my whole life. I don't think I'm a coward. I wouldn't be in the position I'm in now if I was a coward, but I am the sort of person who overanalyzes, worries, frets. When I hear a noise scratching under the bed, either real or imagined, I stare at the ceiling for hours and wonder what it might be that's trying to claw its way out. I picture it with fangs, long bony fingers, and bulging red eyes. For a person who worries like I did and has a vivid imagination to match, Skeleton Creek is the wrong sort of place to endure childhood. I know my writing has changed in the past year. The two kinds of writings, the made-up scary stories and the documenting of events in Skeleton Creek, have slowly become one. I don't have to make up stories any longer because I'm more certain than ever that the very town I live in is haunted. This is the truth, and the truth I've learned can kill you. I'm tired now, so tired. I have to put this down, even if I can't stop thinking about it. Oh my gosh, this book is so good. Do not miss Skeleton Creek. This is book 1. Book 2 is called Ghost in the Machine. Those two go together, and you have to, if you read one, I promise you'll read this very quickly. You have to read book 2 to see how it ends. And then there's books 3 and 4 that go together. Oh my gosh, these are just amazing. So I'm gonna stop sharing real quick. Do not miss Skeleton Creek by Patrick Carman. I promise you, you will not regret it. I will see you in the next video, guys.